Well, the moment has arrived. The moment some have been anticipating, but others have been dreading. A moment we were all expecting to happen, but were nevertheless unprepared for. My Little Pony has been rebooted once again. After the massive success of Generation 4, most have been wondering what will come next. After all, it would be hard to replicate the same magic as to what came before, obtaining not only fans of the targeted fan base, but also an unexpected fan base in the form of the lovingly, but occasionally derogatory, named bronies. Hasbro had to do something. Not drastic, but something in order to keep the popularity alive. And this reboot was given the unenviable task in trying to appease the following it obtained during the last 9-year run. Did it succeed? Well, let's find out. The newest generation of My Little Pony is called My Little Pony: The New Generation. Original, I know, don't get too blown away by this. And takes place thousands of years after the events of Friendship is Magic. There's no definitive ruler of Equestria, and the Pegasi, unicorns, and Earth ponies have been separated, due to years of segregation, fear-mongering, and general distrust. Also, magic is gone, so there's that. One particular Earth pony named Sunny is determined to honor the mission of her late father to bring the three races back together. After meeting a bouncy unicorn named Izzy, the two set off to the realms of the Pegasi and unicorns in order to bring the magic back, and hopefully make some friends along the way. When I first heard the premise of a new generation, my mind immediately went to comparing it to The Force Awakens. Years have gone by, things have gone down the toilet, and there's general glumness surrounding the universe. At the time, I felt the new generation made the events of the previous iteration seem pointless, as the entire thesis of Friendship is Magic is, well, friendship is magic. It can't get much clearer than that. I don't know why I tried. But anyway, the point is Generation 4 had everyone united by the end, using all their strength to defeat the biggest threat Equestria had ever seen. Undoing all that felt cheap, and it would have taken at least a halfway decent explanation as to why. That's why it's kind of painful for me to start negatively, because a new generation doesn't actually answer this question. Characters say that they don't know, or it just happened, and the film just kind of leaves it at that. While the how may not be important to some, as it should focus on the now, and I get that, it's just a major hole in the story that I couldn't help but think about the whole way through. However, if I can look on the optimistic side of things, there is the chance that if this is the start of a new series, perhaps later story arcs can look into the central mystery, perhaps even spanning an entire season, rather than be relegated to a 90-minute movie. Okay, so world building is a bit simplistic and mediocre, but there is the main storyline. It's fairly standard adventure movie fare. A growing team of friends working together to bring harmony back to a world without it. It's a classical tale that isn't exactly brimming with originality, but it's one that works all the same. After all, there's no need to fix what isn't broken. I know people frown upon saying that simplistic storytelling can be forgiven because this is essentially a movie for kids, so I won't say it here, and honestly, I don't need to. Anyone can enjoy a good coming together with the power of friendship story, unless you're a bitter anime fan that's angry that the 300th episode of your once favorite series has solved the main conflict with the power of friendship once again. You know who you are. That being said, there is actually a decent amount of subtext in the story of A New Generation, as the film provides a commentary on misinformation, segregation, and bigotry in a way that some would argue that is on the nose and overly political, but I personally felt it towed the line rather well. Each pony race has a myth or fear-mongering tale about one another, so it was refreshing to see that it was on all sides, rather than just on the Earth Pony side, Pegasi side, or Unicorn side. It gives a believable sense of mistrust and dysfunction in the growing group, so to make them coming together more satisfactory. Sunny is the glue that holds them all together, serving as the main source of positivity and hopefulness to the group. She's also the character that serves as the audience surrogate, which I feel is appropriate, given that she fits the mold of a bright-eyed and normal hero, who gets to discover the world beyond her town, while also being the vehicle for the audience to be reintroduced to the different races. It also helps that Sunny is a charming and likable presence, and helps to ground the world, in a sense, and deliver on the themes of friendship in a way that come across as functional, and fit the tale being woven. Of course, a main character on their journey to solve a massive problem can't be done alone, so that's why she's joined by a solid supporting cast. Hutch is her childhood, or is it full-hood friend who has taken on the role of local law enforcement. While he does care about Sunny's well-being and wants her to fit in, he's also tied to his duty, which makes for a pretty fine arc when he tasks himself with pursuing her when she goes off on her adventure. He also manages to find himself being well-liked by animals. That sounds rather familiar, doesn't it? Then there's two, yes, count them, two princesses on the team. Their names are Pip and Zip. Pip is the diva-like Pegasi who loves to make videos and stream to her loyal followers, while Zip is the rebellious type that likes to be free and not be confined to playing the role of a princess. These two are a lot of fun and make for a good addition to the overall cast, though I personally felt they were the more minimally developed of the core group. Don't get me wrong, they aren't bad in any stretch of the imagination and provide some good humor, though not to mention I'm kind of into shipping Zip and Hutch. You'll see what I mean. But compared to the rest of the group, their contributions don't feel as essential, I guess. But now there's the character that quite a few people have been waiting for. The one who had become the face of the marketing campaign with her cuteness and bubbliness. Yes, fillies and gentle colts, I present to you, the one, the only, Derpy. Derpy? No, sorry, sweetheart, you're not in this movie. Yeah, I know, I looked everywhere for you. I saw a couple ponies with similar colors, but no pony looked quite like you. I know, right? So disrespectful, how could they? I mean, there's a possibility that you'll show up in the series, right? Yeah, you'll probably show up in the series. That's probably what they're saving you for. Aw, yeah, that's the smile I love. No, that's awesome. Now go along. I'll see you in the others later, okay? Anyway, where was I? Oh, right, Izzy Moonbow. Izzy is pretty much the Pinkie Pie of this new iteration, if Pinkie Pie was a unicorn. A unicorn that doesn't know how to use magic. I mean, yeah, she's just Pinkie Pie. But that's not a bad thing. In fact, Izzy is the most endearing character in the movie. She's happy, bouncy, full of heart, cute as a button, super sweet, cute as a button, hilarious, and cute as a button. Did I mention she was cute as a button? I probably did. Now, in my review of the 2017 film, I called Pinkie Pie the heart of the movie. But when it comes to A New Generation, Sunny takes that title, due to the film being more about her arc and her drive to bring the magic of friendship back to Equestria. I was ready to give Izzy that title when I realized that she is more of a really good supporting character, rather than almost coming across like a second lead like Pinkie was. Izzy is definitely more helpful than I was expecting. I anticipated her to be a well-meaning goofball where things would escalate because of her persona, but it wouldn't come from a bad place. To my shock, she is actually a 100% useful companion, and her ideas are solid with only outside forces causing any trouble. Now, just because I found the plotting fairly simplistic, that doesn't mean it didn't subvert my expectations a couple of times. A character I fully thought would be the villain turned out not to be, while a conclusion I thought the film would take actually turned out to be not the case. Though the actual ending is a bit rushed and wraps things up way too quickly for my liking, I did like the turn that it took, as it is a bit more low-key and smaller scale than one would expect from a fantasy film. Speaking of the pacing overall, I thought it was good. For the first 2/3, I felt it was brisk and introduced its characters and new world with efficiency and confidence, so that people familiar with Equestria and its lore aren't bored, while newcomers are caught up to speed without feeling any narrative whiplash. Despite my notes on the world building being somewhat questionable, like I said before, it's nothing that a later installment cannot fix. Perhaps then it could also bring in a larger scale threat. I feel that it's in the final third that the pacing speeds up to the point where I felt that it could have used a bit of extra time. From a big revelation to the climax to the wrap-up, it took less than 15 minutes, and it came across as jarring, like the film just had to speed up to get to the finish line. Character beats felt off, and a comeuppance for the villain was non-existent to the point of coming across like a joke. Believe me, when you see what the villain did, you'd want to at least punch them in the face for being such a stupid jerk. Now, it wouldn't be a My Little Pony, well, anything if there weren't any songs, and there are quite a handful. In truth, I felt the songs were a bit of a mixed bag. No bad songs, but a couple of them weren't as catchy as others. The opening number had me a bit worried that the songs would be an auto-tuned mess, which is weird because Vanessa Hudgens is a good singer, no matter how many times I make fun of High School Musical as a general franchise. It felt fake, for the lack of a better word, and missing that classical nature of the songs of the previous generation. There are two songs I felt really captured the spirit of Generation 4 while having its own flair, and that's Danger Danger, which is the villain song, and Fit Right In, which is Izzy's song. Danger Danger is an extremely catchy rock number that is not only genuinely funny, but is also a satirical takedown of outrage culture and mob mentality. While some may claim that it attacks a certain group with differing ideologies, I felt that it goes after everybody that gives in to fear and prejudice, choosing to follow the herd rather than to stop and think for a moment. And the fact that it manages to tell that message in less than a couple of minutes while still being an earworm that will stay with me for days is quite an accomplishment. Then there's Fit Right In, which is the more lighthearted and poppy musical number, with Izzy trying to help her friends, well, fit right in. There's a wonderful energy to the number that is accompanied by catchy lyrics, fantastic singing, and a general style of number that wouldn't feel out of place in something like Wicked, as the number gave me vibes of songs such as Popular. It also helps that it's an Izzy song and everyone loves Izzy. The rest of the songs, however, aren't as memorable. Like I said, they aren't bad, but nothing else I found to be particularly arresting or toe-tapping, especially when compared to the songs from the previous generation or even the 2017 movie. Aside from the aforementioned songs, nothing even came close to songs such as We Got This Together, and is in no way comparable to something like Open Up Your Eyes. I get that these songs aren't supposed to be these big bombastic numbers like the ones I've listed, and I can admit when G4 has some mediocre songs as well, but I couldn't help but hear some of the numbers and go, meh. With everything that I just said, what did I think of My Little Pony: A New Generation as a whole? Well, despite a couple of mediocre songs, an uneven pacing in the final third, likable but undercooked supporting characters, and a rushed ending, I really enjoyed it. Where it works well. The voice acting is fantastic, and all the cast members do a tremendous job in having their roles, while also proving that actors you're normally used to seeing in live action can in fact do voice work. Let's just hope that the cast of the Super Mario Bros. Movie can also achieve this. The animation is great at times, with cute character designs and expressive faces that hit that level of hilarity and emotion with expertise, and the writing and character interactions are charming and well written. By the end of A New Generation, I found myself looking forward to seeing what will happen next for these characters, what adventures they'll go on next, and what mysteries they will uncover. With the mystery of how the world ended up the way that it did still being an unanswered question, the film has laid the groundwork for answering that question, and I hope that it's something that can be called back to in the near future. I do find myself revisiting the film a few more times, especially when the premiere of the series gets closer and closer. Maybe I could find a few extra details that I missed the first time around. Maybe a couple of those songs I was indifferent to can grow on me, much like One Small Thing did. We shall see. Maybe I'll even find Derpy somewhere in the crowd scenes. She has to be there, I just know it. In the end, I give My Little Pony: A New Generation a 7.5 out of 10. A ton of great elements, but others that I felt could be done better. Definitely worth a watch if you're a fan of Generation 4, as I feel there are moments where it comes close to recapturing that magic. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this in the future. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay wonderful.